Hi, I'm Ashley.
Hi, and I'm Whitney,
And we are the Back Porch Mamas Fellowship. We're two mamas sharing real-life conversations about faith, motherhood, marriage, and homemaking with plenty of encouragement, laughter, and grace along the way. So grab your coffee
or sweet tea,
settle in, and be part of the community where faith and everyday life meet, because here there's always room for one more on the porch. Hello and welcome back. We hope that you have had a great week. Whitney, how was your week?
It was really good. I've been literally going outside and getting 5 inches away from that tomato that's popping out like every 5 minutes. Every time I go outside, I'm like, have you changed yet? All of the things. I have bell peppers and everything, so I'm obsessed with
Your garden is growing.
It is. And my chickens, I've been obsessively going out there and checking for eggs. Although I think it's still just a little bit too early, but it should be very soon, within the next couple of very short weeks.
Nice. How do you know when besides checking every day?
Yeah. Well, apparently they have this squatting thing that they do. When you come near them, they'll start squatting down to the ground and that's a sign, and they'll start inspecting their nesting boxes. And becoming more interested in the area, which they have been doing that, but they don't squat when I come near them. So I don't know.
Got to look for the chicken squat.
Yeah, I'm excited. They've been jumping up on the fence, and so I'm kind of afraid when I let them out. Now I have to keep an extra hard eye on them so they don't venture throughout the neighborhood.
Yeah, not wandering.
Yeah, and I've been making videos, cooking videos, and that's been really fun. It's been interesting.
Yeah, I think we've both started making more videos on our pages. Yeah,
I'm trying to perfect it to a way where people like it more. You know, I'd much prefer just put all the instructions on screen and have a music playing over top of it than to hear myself talk.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely I'll get there.
Yeah. I think your personality shows more when you talk.
Yeah. I don't know what my personality, I don't know what other people think of when they hear me talk, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, but think about your favorite people that do cooking stuff. What makes you like them? It's not just because of what they show you. It's because of the things that they also talk about.
That's very true.
You really like their personality. You're interested in them as a person, not just the food that they're showing you.
Yeah, that's very true. I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are certain people that I really like to watch, and I listen to them because they're funny or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, and people will like you for that.
I am funny, but I have a hard time putting that on my videos. I'm very matter of fact. This is what I'm doing, and I'm stirring, and next I'm going to pour it over here, blah, blah, blah. And my personality does not shine through yet.
It'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to keep doing it every day. And I think eventually I will get to where I want to be. And hopefully it won't feel as awkward for me anymore.
Yeah.
Well, how was your week?
Well, actually, so going back, you were posting, did you want to tell our friends what your name is, how they can find you on TikTok?
Yeah. My name is Whitney Miles. And I think that's what my name is on TikTok and on, it's Whitney Ann Miles, and with an E. And same for TikTok.
Yeah. We will also leave a link in the description so that way you can click and follow it. I know that I have been, and you post mostly cooking and some gardening and stuff, kind of like what we talk about here, but more cooking related. And I've been trying to post more Christian working moms, homemaking related content stuff that's for working moms and just stuff that I personally struggle with, which is hard to be so, like, it's easy to be vulnerable when you're just talking to a microphone. Like, I'm sitting across the table from you and we're talking. It's a little bit more easy to be vulnerable than when I am putting it all out in video form and people can see me in my home. Yeah. And I am,
it feels different.
Yeah, it just feels different to be vulnerable there and talk about things that I'm struggling with, things that I'm learning. But
I'm sure a lot of people identify with the things that you post, because a lot of women are in they're doing the same things that you are. I imagine there's probably more women that are doing what you're doing than women that are doing what I'm doing.
I know, but ironically enough, on social media, if you look up homemaking, if you go to YouTube and you type in homemaking, you are more likely to find a stay-at-home mom who is making videos on homemaking than you are to find a working mom. Right. Perhaps because she is working.
Right. And because the woman that stays at home all day, that's all she does.
Yes.
That's all she has.
Yeah, perhaps. But it makes me feel like I am in the minority. And it's just harder for me personally. So I wanted to try to be a light and encouragement, and to also show people that I do not have it all together. Right. I do not have it all together, and that I am trying right alongside them. I am learning, and yeah.
I think that a lot of people feel that way. And I think that you're not the minority, but you do spend a lot of time with me and talking to me. And maybe that's why you feel that way, because I'm always at home.
And actually, so that was one of the things that I came to the conclusion of. I know in one of our earlier podcast episodes, I was really talking about the struggle of going to work and leaving Luke. And I was really struggling at work. And I realized that it was because we talk about our home life. You and I talk about our home lives so frequently that it was comparison of my life to your life. And we just lead very different lives.
We do.
And not that it's a bad thing, not that either of our lives are bad, but I never realized that it was comparison until I listened to a podcast episode. And it made me realize I always thought comparison was from social media, or you compared your body to some skinny mini that you see in the mall. That, to me, that was comparison. And so I didn't even realize I was doing it until I listened to a podcast. And immediately that night I repented, and it's amazing. The next day I woke up and felt so much better.
Yeah.
My whole perspective had turned around, that I was exactly where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that I couldn't compare, I just couldn't compare. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. Yeah. I am doing what I was supposed to be doing.
I do believe that can be on both sides of the fence, because on the other flip side of that coin, you have freedoms and you have help with Luke, and you have things that I don't have that are helpful for your mental health.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a big, everyone is like that. You always think about the things that you don't have and wish that you had them.
Yeah.
And then, but we're all grateful for the things that we do.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Or we are grateful for them, but sometimes we can accidentally take them for granted.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. I mean, I have no one to watch Sadie. She has been around me. She has spent maybe 3 or 4 hours away from me in her entire life.
And I don't know how you
church while I'm there at church.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. That is, as much as I love Luke and I love spending time around him, I have to have some time to myself.
I don't have a choice. So it's not even a thought in my brain. It would be nice. It would be really nice. I want to go out to dinner with Adam, just me and him, or just me and him go to the beach or something. That would be amazing. But it's just not in the cards for me. So, and I look at you and I envy that about you, because you can do those things.
Yeah.
Because you have your mom.
Is willing to take him. Yeah. My mom loves Luke and Luke loves my mom. It is to the point where this past weekend, my mom took Luke after church and they went to her house. He got a nap. They went to a park for a party, and they were playing, and mom said, okay, it's time to go home. And Luke didn't want to come home.
Oh,
he wanted to spend the night with his Mimi.
Yeah.
So it's special to have that relationship.
Yeah. So. It is good. I would like that with my grandmother. We stayed at her house. We would have pajama parties. All the cousins would come over there. We would make cookies, and it was amazing. But unfortunately, Sadie's grandmothers just live too far away.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things.
Yeah, that is very true. So, like I mentioned, over the weekend, my mom took Luke on Sunday after church, and she hung out with him. And I had a Sam's Club pickup. So I went, the bookstore is right beside Sam's Club.
Right.
I went to the bookstore and spent, I don't even know, probably an hour in the bookstore. It was, time does not exist when I go to the bookstore.
Nice.
So I went and browsed around the devotionals. I looked at the Bibles. I looked at the bargain books. I looked at the kids' books. I looked at everything. Actually, I didn't really browse much of the fiction, but it was like not having a child at all. It was so great.
Yeah.
But I ended up coming out with Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Yeah, that's such a good movie.
Yeah, so I watched the movie and I decided that I would read the book. And I got 2 new devotionals that have already started, and I'm super excited to dive into more. The first one was more about intentional living to slowing down. Mm-hmm. And it's already starting off so good with gratitude.
Right.
And so I'm really excited about that one. The second devotional that I got is a marriage devotional, which I think you're probably supposed to read together, but I'll start out reading it by myself and then we'll see what.
Right. You can just casually mention the things that you read to Nathan.
That's what I figured, that I could bring it up to him because he is not a reader. He does not like to open a book.
Yeah.
So I will just bring it up and try to exhibit, use the devotional in my own life and get him involved that way.
That's the most we can do.
Yeah.
You know, another good place to get books is Ollie's.
Yes.
They have 1 million books in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just never go that way. I never go on that side of town. So on my commute to work, I always listen to this 6-minute podcast called The Morning Mindset. And currently he's going through a series of Matthew, and anywhere in Matthew, the kingdom is mentioned. He is talking through it, trying to help us become more kingdom-like people. But recently, he went through Matthew 5, where Jesus is explaining to not swear on anything, that you should use your words. You should have integrity, and your words should be sufficient enough. Let your yeses be yeses and your no's be no's.
Right.
And I had read through Matthew. We read through Matthew for part of our Bible study. Yes. And of course I knew that, but I think as Luke has become a toddler, this gained so much more new importance to me that I have found sometimes I will say, no, Luke, don't do that. And then 5 minutes later, I'm so tired of telling him, no, don't do it. I just don't care anymore.
Right.
And I really need to make sure that he understands my no is no.
Right.
And it's not going to change.
Yeah.
It's going to be no.
It's really hard to discipline children in that way because, like you said, we get tired. Like, yes. I'm over this. You have asked me 500 million times and I've kept saying no. And you know what? Now that I think about it, it's kind of funny because it just popped in my head. But my dad always said maybe. He always said maybe. He never said yes. He never said no, especially for things that he knew I was going to keep bugging him about. Like, I want to go stay at my friend Laura's house this weekend. And he would be like, maybe. I'll think about it, type thing. And it would keep me on the edge of my seat, but it probably kept me continually asking too.
Perhaps I don't know. It probably made you be better because you knew if you screwed up, he would say no.
That's very true. Yeah, he would always, and I say maybe to Sadie quite often, or I'll think about it. And now she always tells me, I'm thinking about it. It doesn't matter. She's not even using it in the right context, but she'll say, I'm thinking about it. It's kind of funny how our parenting kind of trickles down into our own.
Yeah.
Without us even realizing it. Because I just realized that as we were having this conversation.
I don't remember how, I'm sure that, I feel like I remember my mom sometimes saying, go ask your dad, or my dad saying, go ask your mom. Not regularly. And I don't remember regularly what they would say to something like that. But yeah, I'm trying to be better about giving Luca an answer and sticking to it. Oh, I heard something else this morning I listen to podcasts every morning on my way to work. So I heard something else on a different podcast about a mom talking about how her kids would constantly ask to watch TV. She is a stay-at-home mom as well. So they would get up and they would ask, Mom, can we watch TV? And she would say no. And then 10 minutes later, they would ask, Mom, can we watch TV? And she would say no.
Right.
And she would continue to give no as the answer. And they would eventually come back and say, Mom, you never let us do anything. You never say yes. And to her, she finally came up with the idea of, I will tell them when they can. Mm-hmm. So she said, you can watch TV at 3:30. Mm-hmm. So when they would ask, Mom, can we watch TV? She would say, yes, at 3:30. And then she stopped having to say no all the time. It gave them a time to look forward to. And they would then just come and say, Mom, is it 3:30 yet? And she would say, I don't know. Go check the clock.
Yeah. That's probably a great thing to do, but the TV is always on here, whether it be on something she wants to watch or something Adam wants to watch. So it's not a thing. Maybe when she's a little older, maybe she'll ask to watch something specifically.
Well, I don't think it necessarily has to be with the TV. That was just her example because she has decided that the TV's not on all the time.
Right.
For homeschooling, they're doing homeschooling stuff. They, so
obviously you can't learn while you're watching TV.
Right.
Well, you can, but maybe not the best thing.
Right. So, so that was just her example, but I think you could do it with anything. Like if your child really loves going outside, you can say, okay, we're going outside at, I don't know.
Yeah.
4:30.
Yeah.
When the backyard is shaded or, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Yeah. Normally I'll give Sadie in a couple minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes and she doesn't understand what a minute is.
Yeah.
But it definitely suffices her need in the moment. I'll be like, we can do this in a few minutes. And she'll be like, okay. And then she'll move on and she'll forget about it probably. I try to keep with what I say though.
Yeah.
So even if she forgets about it, I'll be like, do you want to go outside and feed the chickens or do you want to go outside and let the chickens out? And she'll be like, yes. That way I don't seem as if I'm not keeping up my end of the deal.
Yeah. Yeah. You're keeping your word saying in a few minutes.
Yeah. Even if she doesn't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. It is hard though to be a mom and remember everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I feel like that is one of the hardest things. And I know recently Luke has just been testing the boundaries of things. For example, yesterday, Nathan had to work late. So I was solo parenting in the evening and trying to make spaghetti. And I have spaghetti noodles on the stove boiling and spaghetti sauce and, meat cooking on the stove. Mm-hmm. And Luke lets himself out onto the back porch, and I immediately run I didn't even hear him go.
Oh wow!
He's knocking on the back door, wanting to be let back in because he's closed the door on himself. So I open the door and I ask him to come inside, and he does not want to. So I have to figure out how to discipline him to this is not a boundary that you can push. When I tell you to do something, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And
there's this lady that I watched. It's called Brat Busters. Have you ever seen her?
No.
She talks about things like that. So basically, whenever you say something, you have to follow up with an action. You don't have. She's kind of against spankings and whoopings, which. It's one of those things, but she's basically follow up with an action immediately after you say, you're not allowed to do this, and they do it anyway. You immediately jump into action, whether you want to or not, whether you're tired or not. So she had an example of she had boys and they had friends over and they were in the pool, and she told the kids, y'all can play with whatever floats you want, but this float's not going in the pool because it blocks my view and I can't see you. And she said, as soon as she said that, one of the kids gets out of the pool, grabs the float that she specifically said that they couldn't have. And she said, and you know what I did? I was fully clothed. I jumped in the pool and I took the float away from them and I pulled that kid out of the pool and I made him sit right beside me, and he wasn't allowed to swim for 20 minutes. And that was her thing. And she sat there talking to him. She didn't continue to talk about how terrible he was and how he broke the rule and how she was disappointed. Basically, she was just like, you have to sit here with me for 20 minutes and we can talk about positive things. And she started asking him questions about school, and she said he got so entertained by speaking to her and talking to her that when it was time for him to get back in the pool, he didn't even want to.
Right.
And how to basically, once you discipline, you don't continue talking about it. You just take action and that's it. It's over.
Yeah.
And they have the choice whether to get better and talk to you or they just sit there and be miserable, that's their choice.
Yeah.
But they're putting that punishment on themselves.
Yeah.
Your punishment's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have definitely mastered the art of I will do whatever discipline that I need to do. And then I will usually just follow up with one last statement of, I need you to listen to mama when I say blah, 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 and then I drop it. It's gone. We move on with our day. But I want to make sure that he understands why I'm disciplining him, because he did not listen to me.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. It's definitely one of those things. It's like a balancing act. And, you want to discipline them, but you also don't want to be too harsh. And you don't want to traumatize them for the rest of their life, but you also want them to be good people when they grow up.
Yes.
That is like the, trifecta of all the things that you're trying to do simultaneously, which is not easy.
Motherhood is so hard.
It is.
And I naively went into it thinking that the terrible twos was just the tantrums, that it wasn't the pushing the boundaries, that it wasn't the not listening, that all of these things that I am thinking that I am raising a horrible toddler
right now.
And a friend told me, no, it's just because he's two. It's the terrible twos.
Yeah.
And it made me feel so much better about myself as a mom, that I was not completely failing. It was just him learning the boundaries. And
it's all about because they're not getting their way. That is the whole reason for the tantrum. And the whole reason of testing the boundaries is because they're trying to get their way. It all has to do with, they have come to the realization that they have an opinion or they have a want and that they can possibly get it.
Yes.
And now it's up to you as mom to say whether I can or cannot have it.
Yes.
And you're the bad guy all the time.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
When I am not giving him his way.
Right. Exactly.
And I have just, after I noticed this and my no became a no, he continues to ask for bananas. Yesterday, when I was cooking, again, solo parenting, he wanted a banana. And I said, no, you can have it with dinner.
Yeah.
And he kept asking for a banana. And I said, no, you get it with dinner. I am cooking dinner right now. It'll be ready in 10 minutes.
Right.
And of course, he's two. He does not understand what are.
Right.
But I felt very proud of myself for holding firm and not giving it to him, especially when he continued to beg and cry for it.
Yeah.
And then eventually he went and played independently with his little Etch-a-Sketch pad thing.
Yeah. It was like that for me with the Baba, getting rid of it. It was really hard for me to be like, this is over now. And she was crying and crying and crying. It made me feel terrible. It's like, I feel like people look at mothers and don't realize that it affects us emotionally just as much as it affects them emotionally.
Yes.
We care about them. We don't want for them to cry. We don't want for them to be upset, but we also have to do that for them because the world is not that way. The world is not going to please you.
It's not going to cater to your every desire.
And I feel like we're doing a pretty good job.
Yes.
Yep. Yes. We're not perfect. No parent is perfect.
Oh my goodness.
But
if there is a perfect parent, I would love to meet them and have a 20-hour interview with them.
Yeah. Yeah. We all do the best that we can. And, but it is hard because sometimes you go to bed and you're laying in the bed and you're thinking, maybe I could have done better today. I could have done this today. I should have spent more time today. Maybe I was too involved in myself today. There's a million things that go through your mind.
Yes.
And you feel like you're such a bad mom, but I feel like just the fact that you're laying in bed thinking those things proves that you're not a bad mom.
Yes, that is very true. I know there are a few times when I was a tea kettle ready to blow a fuse and
your patience is zero.
Yes. Yeah. And I think about it even just 2 minutes later after that fuse has been blown.
Yeah.
And luckily I had the thought to apologize for it, saying, Mama didn't handle that very well. Mama was very frustrated. I will try better next time.
Yeah.
And again, he may or may not understand that.
Yeah.
But at the very least, he understood the tone of my voice to know that I was no longer mad.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad at him.
So the lady that I watch, I know we have to wrap this up because our children are hungry, but the lady that I watched, I was telling you about the Brat Busters lady. Mm-hmm. She was talking about the therapy sessions that we have with our toddlers. We're like, you need to calm down. You need to take a deep breath. You need to do this, and trying to, or explaining it away to them. And then us on the other hand of that being like, we're sorry, but you are acting this way and I'm frustrated. We say all these things and it means absolutely nothing to them. And it's for us. It's for us to feel better because we are grown and we understand it in a way that they don't understand it. And I think that she's right. What you said about them recognizing your tone of voice is different now.
Yeah.
Yes. But as far as understanding what we're saying or even caring what we're saying, they don't care. They just know that they didn't get their way and you got mad and now they still don't have what they want. That's their train of thought. They have no reasoning like we have reasoning.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that I don't know.
I have. I've had a lot of therapy sessions. I'm like, I say things, and then when I'm done talking to her, I'm like, she did not absorb anything that I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to over-explain because especially if he's coming out of a tantrum, I know that what small reasoning logic he has, he is not absorbing any of it. So I try not to. I try to, like I said, do that one explanation of why there was discipline and then move on with our day. But
yeah,
we all do the best that we can.
Yes, we do. We definitely do. Sadie had a meltdown today and she kicked me while she was so angry. I don't think she did it she was just kicking, and she kicked me. And I so badly wanted to over exaggerate. You hurt me. You hurt mama, And then the thought ran through my mind, maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't know. What is the right way to go about the way that they act? I feel like whooping them while they're mid tantrum does not help because they're already mad. You're just making it worse. You're not calming it down. But then again, if they're having a tantrum and you're like, oh, it's okay. Can you please calm down? Then they're just not like,
their thinking brain is completely off.
Right.
Yeah. I have found for me, what I end up doing is number one, if he is in the mood where he is kicking, I do not you are welcome to do whatever you want to do, but you are not doing it to me.
Right.
So if I'm holding you and you start kicking, you are immediately going down. Whether you get, I don't drop him, but it is an abrupt, you were being set down. Right?
Yeah.
And then I will sit nearby. I don't leave the room. Right. I don't do any of that, but I sit nearby and I basically model what I want him to do. So I make dramatic deep breaths. I don't say anything. I just dramatically deep breathe with a very neutral face. And I have found that the more I can do that, the faster that I do that and the more that I do that, he models it back to me. But when I get elevated in my
and it's hard for
emotion,
us to keep,
he gets more elevated. Yeah. So if I have 1 ounce of patience left and I do the modeling of calm, neutral face, it ends so much faster.
Right. Because they're realizing I'm not going to get what I want and the attention is not there. You're not giving it attention.
Yeah.
I try to ignore it too. And a lot of people don't agree with that. Other people, if other people are here, they're like, you need to whoop her, or whatever, but to stop this behavior. But I feel like it ends faster when you completely act like it's not happening. You can sit in the same room. Don't ignore them, but don't make eye contact. If they calm down and come to you, you immediately accept them and love them. But until they calm down, just act like you're just waiting for time to pass. And when they're done, And eventually I feel like they'll figure out this tantrum is not helping me. It's not, I'm not getting what I want out of it,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that we've had the situation where other people besides us, our family, have been present when Luke throws a tantrum.
It's embarrassing for the mom.
Yes.
For other people to be in the room.
I 100% can say that we have thrown a tantrum in a store.
Nice.
That was a little rough. That was probably 19 months and one of the first tantrums that he had thrown.
Yeah.
And I was completely unprepared for how to handle this.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the first times, which I'm sure probably every mom can relate to this, of no answer makes them happy.
No.
Luke was in a shopping cart and he wanted to sit. He was sitting in the seat part and he wanted to sit in the basket.
Right.
And yeah, okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to sit there, you want to face forward, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Sit there, face forward. But then he got into the basket and no, I want to sit in the seat.
Mm-hmm. I went through that too.
Yes. Okay, Luke. And nowhere made him happy.
No.
And so eventually I was like, do you want to walk with Mama? You can hold my hand. We will walk together.
Mm-hmm.
No. So I promptly took him out. We went and checked out,
mm-hmm.
and I was toting him, kind of kicking it, not quite screaming, but definitely kicking,
mm-hmm.
Out of the store. And the funny thing was, as we were going in, a dad commented to his kid, look, why aren't you like that boy? Like because he wasn't, I guess in appearance, it didn't appear like he was kicking. It looks like he was like fun kicking.
Oh.
Like enjoying himself. And the dad commented, look, why aren't you like that kid having a good time? And I was thinking, oh my gosh, if you only knew. I'm glad that it appears like I have my crap together.
Yeah.
Because inside I am thinking, what in the world? How do I handle this?
Yeah. I've had the same kind of situation at the playground with Sadie. She got mad because the slide wasn't moving fast enough, and I told her she had to wait her turn. And this is when she was around Luke's age. She was 2. And she just wasn't like absorbing what I was saying. I was like, if you keep crying and you can't wait your turn, we are leaving the playground. That was my last warning. And she kept on. So I went up all the way to the top and I picked her up and I had her like tucked under my arm.
Yes.
And her legs were kicking and she was screaming. And you know how Sadie can scream.
Yes.
And we were walking back and this mom was like, I just want to let you know that you're doing a really good job.
And just that statement can make you feel like, yes, like there are other parents who understand my struggle and I am not alone.
Yeah.
I am doing an okay job.
Oh yeah. I feel like everyone's been there. That's for sure. Although my mom like has said that I did not throw tantrums when I was a kid, but I feel like some kids are just like, they either do or they don't.
Yes. My mom said that I would attempt to throw tantrums and she would take me to my room and say, you are welcome to throw tantrums in your room, but you cannot be in the living room, the kitchen, the main part of the house throwing your tantrums. And she would leave me in my room to throw my tantrum.
Right.
And it would immediately stop because what fun is it to throw a tantrum?
No one's watching me.
Yeah, when nobody's watching. Like, I'm not getting my way. Who cares? I'm going to quit now. But I don't necessarily know if I agree with the whole like leaving Luke in his room by himself to throw his tantrum.
Yeah, I think you should be present for when they're done.
Yes.
But don't let it, even though it is affecting you, like you're angry because they're angry and you're upset because they're upset. You have to appear as if you're fine.
Yes. So I think the only thing that I would change is like, we can go to his room, but I would probably sit like inside of his room by the door with him.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. I know there are plenty of times where I've just sat in the middle of the living room floor and he will like stop his crying and like look at me like, are you watching me? And then he'll go back to crying. And okay, buddy, if that's what you feel like you have to do, do it.
I have one time been like, Sadie, if you can't chill out, you need to go get in your bed and go take a nap because I'm tired of watching you scream and cry. And she got up and she went and she laid in her bed.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I didn't shut the door, but then I felt really bad because she did what I told her to do. And then I was sad because she left me.
The emotions that moms go through.
Yeah. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. But that just shows that we love our kids.
Yes, that is very true. That's very true. Well, I think it's probably time to wrap it up. Get the kids some dinner.
Yep.
So thanks for spending time with us on the porch this evening.
Yep. You guys have a great week and we'll see you next.
Bye.
Thanks for spending a little time with us on the porch today. We are so grateful you're here. We pray this episode encouraged your heart, lifted you right where you are, and brought a little more grace into your day. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to follow along, join the Facebook page, and share the episode with a fellow mama.
We'll be right here next week, saving you a seat. Same porch, same fellowship.